What I want to talk about today is the most I've paid to get a book ready for publishing. Do me a favour. Subscribe to my channel, it'd be a great help. Click the notification bell so you'll get notified on more videos like this. And give it a thumbs up. Back in 2019, I started writing my biggest book to date, with 230 pages, nearly 80,000 words and 70 images. It's a non-fiction book. But I was really enjoying the process. And that's what really got me into looking at not just non-fiction books and fiction books, but the low content side of things. Not so much the no content, but the lower content, if you like. Children's books, as in puzzle books and things like that, I would class them as low content. Children's books regarding stories, I'd consider them having content, so they wouldn't fall into the low content book category, in my view. But yeah, I really enjoyed writing the non-fiction book. So much so that I wanted it processed the best way I could. I wanted to investigate to find out how to get a book formatted, because I couldn't format a book at that time. And that was a couple of years ago, but I can format a book now quite well. And I'll be showing you how to do that in future videos. So I wanted the best proofreaders. I wanted the best that I could afford, I should say. Well, barely. You know, I had to make a few sacrifices, but I felt that that book would be worth it, and it would help me in this process. So I hired the best formatting company I could find that were available. Some of them were really busy for months in advance, but the one that was available, I'd looked at all their examples and customer reviews. Everything looked great, and the conversations we had were good. There was good interaction, and you know, that went a long way. So I chose the formatting company. When it came to choosing the proofreader and the copy editor, which I needed for this book, it had to be spot on. This was going to be a book that I'd enjoyed doing so much that, and I didn't really know how to format. Like I say, I had no idea on what a proofreader did, not really, or a copy editor for that matter, how far a copy editor would go. So yeah, this was all part of a big experiment that I was really loving. And that's what really kept me going into publishing as I've done now. It wasn't cheap, not by a long shot. So let me just go through a few figures with you here. Yeah, I'm no spring chicken, so I'm on the glasses. Now, as you can see here, there's 230 pages at close to 80,000 words, with 70 high resolution images. Now that was a key issue for me, because the images had to be spot on, and I didn't know how to compress them, or would they be compressed? Would it matter if they were compressed? Now, all the images were in 300 dpi, which is sort of a maximum, really, that, or an ideal figure that a lot of big printing companies, as in the big printing presses, say they like. But I've discussed this in a previous video, which I'll link to, about DPI, PPI, and does it really matter that much? But yeah, at the time, it did matter to me, because I didn't know what the print would turn out like. So I used the best images I could that I'd taken myself, and gave them to the formatting company in a separate file through their upload system, because I didn't want to put it in any other kind of file. I didn't want to put it on a disk or send it via email or anything else. I didn't want any loss in quality. So I published the book. I eventually finished the book. It took some doing. I published the book at the end of July 2020. The proofreading via Upwork. Now, searching for a proofreader in Upwork was a bit of a challenge as well. And I'll make a video on that using Upwork, because I like Upwork. I think it's a really good... I've tried Fiverr. Not a big fan. I understand people do that for book covers and that, and they actually can pay a fiver. But no, I mean, I've sort of... Upwork is really more for professionals, charging quite often professional fees. So the proofreading for those 80,000 words, close to, came to £157 or $206 US. Now, before I go on, and I'm going to babble a little bit more here. When I first started my videos this year on publishing, I mean, I've only been doing this now since sort of mid-January, so we're only at the beginning of March. So I'm still trying to get the hang of it. And at the beginning, I used what I call, for £1, I used a sub. But then, yeah, you know, I mean, I'll use subs in everyday life. You know, I'll say, you know, have you got 5 subs, or it's going to cost me 10 subs for that. You know, I might use that in everyday life, but it confuses people. So I've found out. So from now on, I'll be using my currency, which is the Great British Pound, and I might every now and then put a little US dollar symbol above or flashing on the screen to explain what my pound is. So £157 for the proofreading, 206. I can imagine some of you fainting at these prices that I'll be giving you now. Copy editing, and that was again via Upwork, 392 UK pounds. But bear in mind, it's nearly 80,000 words, so it was going to be a big job, and that's not a lot of money for copy editing. You can pay a hell of a lot more than that. I don't think the hell is swearing, is it? But you know, I keep mentioning that. But that's as far as I'd like to go. That's not a lot. You could pay a copy editing company £1,000 for that, or you could pay someone on Upwork or Fiverr maybe £100 for that. But at the end of the day, you sort of get what you pay for. So you don't mind paying a fair amount, and I figured that was a fair amount. It didn't seem like extortion. So £392 for copy editing, and I had to supply MS Word documents for that. Now, some copy editors and proofreaders don't mind a PDF, and they'll mark that PDF and leave comments in the PDF, and it's quite nice actually. It's quite neat. But this particular copy editor preferred MS Word, which was fine because I produced everything in MS Word. So he took that away, and yeah, £392 or $515 US. Now, this was where it gets expensive. Yeah, if that's not expensive enough. formatting via Wordsworth. That's words with a Z. Wordsworth.com. Based in the UK. And that was kind of important to me. I needed a proofreader, copy editor, and formatting via the UK, because we say things a little bit differently. We write things a little bit differently. Like modernise might be Z in the UK, or it might be an S in the US. It might be an S in the UK. You know, there's a lot of word differences. So I wanted people to actually read it from my perspective, from a UK language perspective. So they were UK based. The proofreader was in Manchester. Now I was in Liverpool. I'm now in Cheshire, in Warrington in Cheshire. But I was in Liverpool at the time. So I kind of felt some sort of connection. I was actually born in Manchester. But the copy editor was in Leeds. And again, that's not too far away. So I just felt a bit of closeness there. I felt like, I was going the right way. Now, they could have been the worst people in the world. But I took the chance. It paid off. Formatting via Wordsworth was £865 UK pounds, or $1,133. That's a lot of money. But you know, what that included was the ebook version in EPUB and Mobi files, so I could use them wherever I wanted. And I think Amazon now use the EPUB version. I think they were just Mobi at one point. And everyone else was using EPUB. I'm sure I've got it the right way around. And those ebooks were formatted beautifully. The images were set out well. The titles were fabulous. And when it came to the covers, nice, beautiful images. And everything was set out perfectly. Well, that's the book. But this is just a selection of my books, a sort of minimum of 20,000 words in each one. But I do lots of low content books, children's books as well, you know, so these books I really enjoy doing. And I've got a couple I've got to do this year that are, 20 and 40,000 words, amongst other things. I hope to get you guys doing these kind of things as well at some point. It's not as hard as you think, if I can do it, you know. But there was a colour version which I was going to use with Lulu, so I could at least produce colour books, hardcover books. And I had to actually tell them who I was going to publish with, so they could make the file sizes perfect for those print-on-demand companies. Amazon, it was paperback with black and white images. And so everything turned out perfectly, but at a cost. The total cost was £1,414 UK pounds and $1,854 US dollars. That's for one book. Now, I appreciate a lot of people can't afford that. I mean, that broke my bank at the time. But I really had to do it. I just felt that it's got to be done. I want to see the process. I want to see what comes back from it. Now, I can produce books like this. I can format them myself now in this kind of quality without having to go to all this expense. But say all this expense, I will still use a copy editor and a proofreader, because but I probably won't go to that length. I'll probably get it so that I've really gone over the work myself a good few times before it going to proofreader and copy editor, just so they don't have as much work to do and they can pick out a few things that I may have missed. So I brought the pricing down, the formatting I'll do myself. I mean, when you think £865 or $1,133, that's a big saving in itself. And since that book, I've produced books without using a formatting company. And I've got a video on that, and I'll be going through a bit of a process with you on how you can do it yourself, and I'll be showing you how to create your chapters and how to align the words and close gaps. And so expand lines and words. So yeah, that's a lot of money. But now we'll have a little look at the results. So copies sold to date, 825. Royalties to date, £2,740, or $3,594. Now, if I take away the costs with the formatting, proofreading, copy editing, it's a profit, or the royalties, of £1,326, or $1,739. So yeah, after expenses up to now, I've made £1,326, or $1,739 depending where you live in the world. You know, that could certainly go a long way. It goes a long way for me. But, you know, it's sort of Christmas taken care of and going out every now and then and stuff like just off that one book. So now this is the bit that's speculative. It's a projection. Now, based on what that book has earned to date, I'll do a 10-year projection. So 12,000 UK pounds over 10 years, or $15,744. Now, of course, that's presuming Amazon still exists. That's presuming print-on-demand companies still exist in that time. And that's presuming a lot of things, like, you know, am I going to sell any more at all from now on? But I've based it on, instead of £100, £144 a month, I've based it on £100 a month. So I'm allowing for that £44 off every month as a drop-off over time. It could just really take off instead. And that figure, which is, I think it's quite reserved, fair, of £12,000 or $15,744 over a 10-year period, who knows, it could double, triple. You just don't know. And that's what I like about this business.